Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Paranormal Portal midweek extravaganza. You didn't think we forgot, did you? No, we were fashionably late. We made an entrance. We knew you guys were waiting, and we were excited to get in here, but we're like, nope, don't rush in. Let's let it age like a fine cheese. And so we did. And now we're here, ladies and gentlemen. So welcome to the show. Hope you guys are doing great out there. Happy Wednesday night. That means you're halfway through your work week, over halfway. And it's all downhill now. You got it. You got this nailed. It's all good. You've done it. The hard part is over, unless your job sucks, and and then every day is a struggle, I'm sure. But welcome to the show. I am, of course, not here alone. I've got my really good friend and co-host, Mr. Don Longbeard, here with me. Nope, I mean it's Little Wes. You got a little Wes back there behind you.
Of course, you could just see me, ducking down behind you on your screen. So it's like, where'd Don go? I don't know.
Where'd Don go? He's hiding again.
Hey,
must have got into the peanut butter again.
Happy Hump Day.
Hump Day's Eve. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We are here, and I missed you too, Hetty. Good to see you. Thank you for coming in. And thank you to all of you who are coming in. Hello, Mr. Cade. Hello, Beth. Good to see you. Amber, how are you? Justin, Naughty Nessie is here. Beth is here up above her again. Lots of Beth. No, I'm just kidding. Chris Jarvis. I don't know. Don, why don't you read the list and see who is here?
Sure.
Or you think it's too early? What do you think?
Well, I think they can just tough it if they're
okay.
If they're late, they're tardy.
If they're late, they're just like us.
You know what, though?
We were tardy.
Cha-Cha's actually on time today.
Oh, wow.
Cha-Cha's here.
She's so punctual.
Punctual. So we've got Amber, Annie M, Aussie Tiger, Barry's here, Beth, as Mr. Brent did say. We got Black Tree, Bomber. Bomber, why do you think you were banned from the portal?
Because we were late. She couldn't find the episode.
Oh, gotcha. I missed
that was a
part.
late reference.
Brian Gaska shared our post as you put it out tonight. Good job, Brian. Cha-Cha didn't do it. Chris Jarvis, Ms. Deb Varner, L.E.M., Hetty Lamar is here. Justin Goodearth, Cade from Down Under, a good friend there. His Jim Harold episode was awesome.
Yeah, it really was, guys. If you get a chance. Oh, I mean, are you done?
No, well, no, I'm not done. But
go ahead, if you get done, and then we'll talk about.
Okay,
Cade's
Chris
episode.
AZ Bigfoot fan. That's what it is. M Cat Marilena. There is Magion. As Mr. Brent said, it is Naughty Nessie right there. Mr. Paranormal Portal, Renee Cruz, and Duke from World Bigfoot Radio. I was trying to make it sound good, but I screwed it up. World Bigfoot Radio.
Try it like that. World Bigfoot Radio. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So, welcome. Now, getting back to our friend Cade's show. If you want to catch a good episode, a really fantastic episode, Cade had Jim Harold on his Believe podcast, and there's some stories on there that are just like
good ones.
Whoa! I mean, Jim's quite a storyteller. I didn't know that. I mean, I have to admit, I'm not incredibly familiar with Jim Harold's work, but I know the name. I know he's been around forever, and it's not because I've not been interested.
Since 2005.
Yeah, he's been at it for a long time. He's one of the front runners on the whole deal, for sure. He was in that first pack of people that really kind of paved the way. So it was a great show. I really liked the episode because of the variety of things they covered. The story of that bar or whatever. That was creepy.
Where the two people go in and they see the picture on the wall.
Yeah, that was a good one. And we're not going to tell you exactly what happened.
No.
But trust me, head over to BelievePod.com.
And you won't believe it when you hear it.
Yeah, there's a reason it's called the Believe Podcast, because you're going to need to believe. If you listen, you will believe.
That's great, yeah.
Okay, that's your new tagline. If you listen, you will believe. I kind of like that.
If they listen, you will grow.
No, Don. No, Don, you wrecked it.
No, never mind. I meant like in numbers.
Exactly.
Podcast numbers.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He says, I actually love that. There you go.
There
Boom.
you go. Bang.
Just need a percentage of those T-shirts.
Yeah,
and we're
just
good.
a point or two. We'll be okay.
No, that's a gift from a friend to a friend. You can take it, brother. If you can use it, outstanding. Who's Consquatch?
Consquatch. Yeah, Consquatch has been here before.
Oh, okay.
That's
fantastic.
not a new name. Just
It's new to me.
You don't see him. Oh, yes. No, it's not.
I think it might be.
No,
But I
it's-
have a dyslexia for names, so you'll have to forgive
No,
me.
it's just
Who's Barry? No, I'm just kidding.
who's naughty Nessie? Now we're just making fun of people. No, Consquatch has been in and out quite a few times. Doesn't catch all the
YouTube host starts showing signs of dementia. Story at 10.
signs of
Dementia.
showing signs of.
Yeah. I'm like,
This thing's driving us all nuts.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm not good with names. I never have been. I really do try. Oh, tighten up. How you doing? Good to see you.
Oh, you recognize that one?
I do, because that was one we saw on whose other episode? Kevin, yeah. Kev Baker show. Tighten Up was over there.
Yes.
And I think I saw it somewhere else as well. I can't remember what it was. It was another podcast.
Paisley show too.
Well, yeah, no, I know.
Podcast.
Right, I recognize.
Might have been.
It was another one that I just happened on, and I think I saw Tighten Up in that one too.
Yeah, you were listening last week. You were listening to
Names. There you go.
Dark Waters.
Oh yeah, it was Dark Waters channel. Tighten Up was on there. I think that was you, Tighten Up, if that was right.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, it was really cool. Very cool to see people. You know, I gotta say, I do quite a bit of surfing around for paranormal shows,
And I'm the one who's got to remember all of it.
yeah, I just know that I check around. I don't always remember what I saw, but I gotta tell you, there's one person that I see all over the place on paranormal shows, and that's Renee. And Renee's a mod in about most of them. It's like, oh, Renee's here too. Oh, Renee's there too.
Oh, that's a good one, MCAT.
What did MCAT say?
Dirty Dawn's Longbeard Oil.
Oh man, that's
a good one. I like that. Sorry, Renee. Yes.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic.
Dirty
Yeah, Renee
Dawn's.
makes the rounds in the paranormal community, that's for sure. So, I guess we got a show to do, right?
I thought we were.
We are doing a show.
Oh, he
and
wants to dive in.
We got to do the dive in. Yeah,
Okay.
for sure. But the phone lines will be open throughout the night. If you've got a paranormal story of your very own that you'd like to share, please feel free to call in. 720-923-0500. Again, 720-923-0500. And we'd love to hear from you. So call whenever you want to. And as long as it's during a show, we should answer.
If not, you'll get the
Yeah, it'll be some recording that asks if you want to be the host or something like that. Do you like to be the
not a
host?
valid.
Enter the pin. It's like,
111-333-222.
sure, go
That's
with
the
that.
pin.
Go with that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're ready because we're going in. It's not the quantity of beard, Brian. It's the quality.
See, but that's not what I was laughing about.
What are you laughing about?
It's Cade going, call Dirty Dawn's hotline.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, that's going to be a whole different show.
But yeah, the whole Brent Shortbeard thing, that's entertaining too.
It's not entertaining. It's classy.
It's classy.
It gives me a chin. I haven't had a chin for years, so it's nice to actually have a jawline now. You can see I've got a jawline, so it's a utilitarian kind of thing. So I like my beard, and I've gotten a lot of nice compliments on
That
it
is
too.
a
Just for the record.
goatee.
Well, it's a goatee. It's go to hell. My goatee says go to hell. It's groomed. Naughty Nessie says it's groomed. Yeah, that's right. I'm well groomed, I think. I'm working on it. Oh, well, I'm glad you like it. Thanks, Nessie.
My cheeks hurt.
That's all right. Keep working them. Feel the burn, Don. We got a bunch of paranormal to get through tonight, so I hope you guys are ready because this should be fun. It's already fun. It's always fun whenever we turn on the lights here.
Wow.
But I got to tell you. What?
Well, we usually don't turn the lights on.
Oh, did I say turn the lights on? I don't even remember what I said. A lot of times I'm just spitballing into this mic, Don. I have no idea what I'm saying. What I'm saying most of the time, it's hard to say. But let's talk a little bit about some UFOs, Don.
Oh, UFOs.
UFOs. Now, I have seen a UFO.
Yes.
You've seen an anomaly, which could have been, maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. And it was right outside of the studio here when you were leaving one night.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And so I would say that makes us both experiencers to some degree or another, right?
Are you experienced?
I'm experienced in the UFO
It's a Jimi
thing.
Hendrix song.
Yeah, I know. I'm familiar with it.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I guess I would be an experiencer.
But you're a believer in this kind of thing.
I believe that there's a high probability that there's more to aliens and Bigfoot than ghosts and spirits and demons.
There's more to aliens and Bigfoot than ghost spirits and demons.
Yeah, because at least with Bigfoot and aliens, we're talking about
Oh,
possible
okay. I
tangible-
get what you're saying.
Yes.
Now. I was like, huh? Okay, now I get it. So you're saying there's more possibility and
Right.
more potential for
Yes.
for reality. Okay,
Yes.
I can go with that.
If Kathy said she just stepped outside for a smoke, so hopefully she doesn't have a paranormal experience while we're doing this, because we know one thing: the portal general warning says smoking may cause paranormal activity.
That's right. There's many times during the course of the show that we've covered stories, and they start out with, "I was out on the porch having a smoke,"
I was taking a break out back and I was smoking.
and then they see something, and then something breaks off sideways, and it's really funny because that theme has happened.
Yes.
I would say hundreds of times it's come up throughout the course of doing this show that we've heard. I was outside having a smoke when.
Yeah.
You know, and there's some crazy experiences people have had. One person worked at a retirement home or like a nursing home,
Right.
and they had just got to work, and their normal routine was they worked in like the afternoon evening shift, I think is how it went. And the first thing they would do is get on site and hang out into this outside smoking area and have a smoke. And now it was real common during their time of doing this that this one elderly resident would come out and he'd sit and have a smoke with them. And they'd chat or just hang out and just maybe they weren't talking all the time, but it was real common for them to meet up and at that same time and smoke. And then the guy would go in and start a shift and so on and so forth.
Right.
So he comes into work one time and he's at the smoking spot. He lights up a cigarette. He's sitting there smoking, and sure enough, here up comes that resident. He's timing it pretty well. And the guy, you know, I think he made a reference to the fact that the resident rarely ever had to buy cigarettes because he was always bumming them.
off,
Yeah, so he gave him a cigarette, and the guy lit up his cigarette, and they were out there. And he said that, you know, I talked, but the guy didn't really say much, and which is fine. And I finished up my cigarette and went into shift and got in and was getting the report about what had happened and what had been happening. And it turns out the guy that he saw outside and had a cigarette with had died the night before.
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine how that would feel, Don?
I would definitely put more credence in the whole afterlife thing. Yeah. No, I mean, that'd be strange because you'd walk in and people like, you couldn't have been just smoking with him because like, he died the night before. It'd be like, really?
Or I think the conversation was, no, he couldn't be dead. I just had a cigarette with him.
I just smoked with him. Yeah, either way.
Either way, that's wild. Now, Duke says the Clean Indoor Air Act has been responsible for a lot of paranormal encounters. That's a good point. Yep.
Yeah.
People didn't always have to smoke outside, but now they do in many cases. So does coffee cause body hair, Barry?
That's Barry's started that one again.
Oh, okay.
Barry's good at starting like weird side conversations.
Christian Claff, is that a new name?
That's a new name, yeah.
Hey, Christian, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming in and stopping in and checking us out. We hope you'll enjoy it. Walnut Groves is here.
That's
or
a new
Grooves, Walnut Grooves.
Oh, Grooves, yeah.
Yeah, I lived in Minnesota, and of course we had a Walnut Grove there, and that was actually the site of Laura Ingalls Wilder's Little House on the Prairie show.
Oh.
That was Walnut Grove.
Oh, good point.
Yeah, so I saw Walnut Grooves, and I was like, ooh, Walnut Grove. But anyway, 30 people just went back to smoking cigarettes. That's what Walnut Grove says. That's probably true, man. If you want to encounter something, start smoking.
Apparently so.
I mean, cigarettes. You might encounter other things if you
With
smoke
other
other things.
things.
Yeah. But I think that's pretty hilarious. We are going to go into some UFO stuff, and there's some.
Eventually.
Yeah, we'll get there eventually. I don't know how we even ended up in the cigarette stuff. Isn't that weird? I have a little.
Oh, because I said I fronted.
Oh,
somebody
that's
else
right.
smoking.
Yeah, Catherine's going out to smoke. Yeah, I got you. All right, so, this isn't UFO-y at all. It was weird. It was supposed to be this. It was supposed to be 3 UFOs over Visalia, California. Let me try opening that again.
Is it a broken link? Yeah, it's a broken.
It looks like a broken link, although it doesn't sound like a bad link to cover, and I guess we'll cover it because it's kind of
serendipity.
It opened, so I clicked on one link that was about UFOs, ladies and gentlemen, and I got a collection of angel encounters and sightings. So that's pretty cool. I don't know. All I can say is that sometimes the portal just writes itself. So I'll assume this is one of those.
And sometimes it sinks itself too.
Yeah, sometimes it upends itself. Yeah. The first, I guess this is good. I mean, it's good to talk about the positive of the paranormal.
Positively paranormal.
Yeah, well, I mean, we cover a lot of the dark stuff all the time.
True.
Oh, I saw that horrible apparition, shadow people, demons, darkness, creatures chasing them through the woods, et cetera, et cetera. But it's really kind of reassuring to cover some of these happier things, like angels, for instance. I mean, what wouldn't we all love to see angels and be in the company of angels? And maybe we all are, but these are just some cool stories. So this one, the first one in this list, talks about an Archangel Michael visitation, and that sounds pretty cool. Because I guess if you're gonna have an angel visit, that's like the boss of them.
Send me an angel. There, now see, you heard me sing.
All right, I was giving a new client a Reiki treatment. My hands were focused on her body, as were my eyes. I felt a presence in the room. When I lifted my head, I saw an angel step through the wall into the room.
Wow.
He was so very tall that he had to stoop so as not to bump his head on the ceiling. My first thought was this must be the Archangel Michael, because I'd been told once that archangels are tall. I don't know why I thought it was Michael. I was just sure it was. I wasn't sure that I should tell my client about the angel visitation, so I just kept quiet. Before the session was over, the woman asked if I ever sensed angels. I quietly answered yes, as I continued to look over at the beautiful being of light that was sending enormous amounts of love and caring into the room. She then told me that she had always felt a strong connection to the Archangel Michael. So I told her that he was in the room, and it was just an amazing experience. Wow. How awesome would that be?
That'd be kind of cool, yeah.
That'd be all kinds of cool. I mean, this is a divine being by our understandings. And to be that close to a divine being, I think is pretty amazing. I think we're all divine beings. We just don't know it, though.
Right.
We're dealing from this place of shadows and illusions, and it's hard to see the divine. But when one comes screaming into the room, so to speak, as tall as the ceiling, it's hard to miss.
Yeah.
So this one is called A Blanket from an Angel. These stories are coming from learnreligions.com, and it's angel encounters. So it's not even the same site. That's weird.
Yeah, it's nothing.
I mean, this site just kind of opened itself. It must be a really broken link. So, I mean, it's not just a bad link on a, what?
It's just funny how you clicked on a UFO alien,
Yeah,
and you ended up with archangels.
I know it's bizarre, but
I didn't really question that.
I
I'm like,
yeah, I mean, I even tried to segue into it with some personal experience stuff, but I guess the show is going a different direction tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, the portal is its own thing. So this one's a blanket from an angel. It says, my baby was in the hospital having a 4-hour surgery, and my estranged husband wasn't present. At this time, our marriage was crumbling, but even worse, I was afraid for my baby's life. What kind of a douchebag would this guy be? His baby's having a 4-hour surgery, and he can't even be bothered to be there?
oh, wow.
Yeah, I wonder why the marriage is having trouble.
Yeah, no doubt.
What a dick. Oh, That's terrible.
That's been your word this week. You know that?
It's been my word for longer than this week. Trust me.
Well, it's really stuck out this week. I mean, you've used it a lot this week.
Okay. Thanks, Don. Thanks a lot. So anyway, but even worse, I was afraid for my baby's life. When I arrived in the waiting room, an older lady was sitting there working on a quilt. I know we've read this one before.
That one we've read that one.
With words from the Serenity Prayer on it. And it said, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Mm-hmm. She asked me if the little baby boy is mine, and when I confirmed, she took my hand and said a prayer with me. I asked who she was, who she's making the quilt for, and she replied that God will show her who will need it. Hours later, I was called into the recovery room, and my baby son was fine. When I came outside, the lady gave me the quilt and told me that she now knows who she's been making it for. I've kept it in her honor, for my now 5-year-old son is sleeping in his bed covered by it. Mm-hmm. That's a beautiful story, though, even though we've covered it before. And that's the trouble with these kind of things is there's only, there's always stories repeated all over the place. So we kind of stumble on them sometimes. So it's my apologies. We don't mean to be redundant. But I didn't mean to open this link either. So we were led here, ladies and gentlemen. This is the hands of fate.
Maybe there's something in this that you're supposed to read tonight.
Yeah, that's what I think. That's why I'm actually reading it. It's like, okay, the universe is saying, hey, you're reading this page. We're not talking about UFOs right now. We're talking about this. Okay, universe. Gotcha. This one's Angel Force. I was headed home to my children, driving in the slow lane, and the next thing I knew, I was flying in the air in my Ford Windstar. I had no control, and when my van landed, it looked like a crane had put it there. It was in the ditch perfectly. I had little room to get out, and I felt like some force had lifted me out of the ditch. And I then saw this man who was so calm, he put a calmness in my heart, and I never saw him again. I still can't explain how perfectly my van was in the ditch. Yeah, but why? It's like, yeah, I'm going to flip their van into the ditch, but I'm going to make them feel calm about it.
Okay.
Was it avoiding something? Was there some other danger that had come along? That's kind of strange, isn't it?
There's no reason as to why it's flipped.
I have no idea. It's like it's been arbitrarily flipped into a ditch, but calmly.
Calmly, yes.
All right, so here's another one. My son and his angel. In my home, we are not religious by any means, and one night I was putting my son to bed, and he started telling me that the night before Jesus brought an angel to him because he was scared. He said, she was so beautiful, and her wings were so big that they almost touched my walls. He said she sang to him and laid with him until he was asleep. He then said Jesus came back to get her, and he brought her back to a door with him, and where they started to sparkle and then went through the door. Ever since, my son has been obsessed with Jesus and angels. He prays to an angel often and prays for Jesus to come back. The other day he was crying because he said he keeps praying, but he doesn't think Jesus can hear him. And he said that he keeps praying for him to come back because they make him feel so happy. I acknowledge what he says, but I don't push it. I just let him talk about it when he needs to, and I'm not sure what I should do. He gets genuinely sad when he thinks Jesus can't hear him. He's only 4 years old. I thought the last story is a 5-year-old. That's right. That's pretty cool. I guess Jesus got busy, but
Jesus got a lot of people to talk to.
he's got a big list to take care of, for sure. This one's my healing angel. When I was really young, maybe 8 or 9 years old, I went to bed one night with a severe earache. I woke my mother up several times for comfort, but nothing made it better. I laid in bed with tears in my eyes, and then suddenly the pain stopped. I opened my eyes and saw something like a cloud hovering over me. I was amazed, but more so relieved. I knew what it was, as I soon after fell asleep in peace. And that's the whole story. So that was an angelic cloud, I guess. That's pretty good. Right, Don?
Sure.
I
mean, there's not really much in these last two that really give you any idea what's really going on, though.
Well, sure. This one was an earache, though.
Well,
Very profound pain.
and the other one could have been a very profound pain.
Could have been.
However, it was gently put down in the ditch.
Oh, the car
So,
one.
I
That's
mean,
weird.
It's like, okay, so an earache. All right.
Sure, but I think those kind of healings are very cool, though.
Hmm?
Like when somebody has a chronic pain and it's just gone.
Yeah.
I had a series of horrible migraines that lasted for 2 weeks. I mean, it was 2 weeks of hell, and it was honestly the only time in my life, and take it or leave it. And this isn't me trying to dramatize it. It just really was this miserable.
Right.
Every day I was in this excruciating pain, and I couldn't sleep. And I was, given all these pain pills and shots and stuff to try to keep it under control. But it's 2 weeks straight.
Right.
And then by the middle of the second week, I was just like, it's the only time in my life that I ever prayed to just make it stop, whatever that means, just make it stop. I can't do anymore. And I remember I went to sleep on a Friday night on the very last week, and I woke up on Saturday morning, and it was gone. And I just laid still. I didn't dare move. And I laid there for probably an hour, hour and a half, just living in that moment where I wasn't feeling that excruciating pain.
Right.
And it was just the most incredible feeling. And then finally I slowly moved my legs, and it still was pain-free. And I got up, and then that was it. I had just a few reoccurrences after that, but nothing like that one experience. It was so horrible. So I know when that healing happened, whatever was going on, I don't know. I mean, nobody did ever find out why I was having those headaches.
Right.
And I went through, like a dozen emergency room visits and the Mayo Clinic and everything to try to figure it out, but they never knew. They just couldn't say.
Huh.
They said we'll call it cluster migraines.
Cluster migraines.
Yeah, whatever the hell that means, but. But I know what it's like to be in excruciating pain and then just suddenly have it gone. It's just like, oh my God, it'll make you religious. That will. Here's one that's called Angels Are Among Us. My 15-year-old grandson and I were putting up a garage sale signs several blocks down the street, and I think this one's familiar too. When I got back to the car to head back home, I looked at Dawson, my grandson, and he was looking out straight ahead, and I asked if he could stay the night. No sooner than he asked the question, while driving, in a flash of an eye, I saw huge white angel wings encompass my windshield. At that very second, Dawson shouted, "Grandma, did you see that?" And I said, "Yeah, I saw huge angel wings cover the windshield," he said. "No, Grandma, I saw a ball of fire." We both were shocked to have seen two very different things. We are both strong believers and have experienced many miracles, but who was ready for something like this? No trees fell, no storm. Why were there angel wings in front of me covering my side of the windshield and a fireball flashed for him? We cannot understand this, but awesome. I could actually see the inner wing in all its brilliance and feathers. It was huge, and it was gone as fast as it came. So that one's just kind of arbitrary. It just kind of showed up like, boom, covering the windshield, and then boom, gone.
See, but then again, I got to ask, to what purpose?
I don't know. Is it just a revelation of sorts? Like, hey, we're here. Here's my wings, and
Or maybe you actually ran the stupid thing over. He was like, "Hey, watch it, buddy.
watch the road, you mooks."
Hey, what are you doing?"
Yeah, exactly. It's hard to know. It's hard to know, but it appeared all the same. This one's Angel at Night. My family and I were going through a terrible experience in 2008. To make a long story short, I had a chair next to my bed one night when I was sleeping. I wake up looking over at the chair, and there was a little girl dressed all in white with a hat on, and she had a beautiful glow, and all of a sudden she walked away. I could not fall back to sleep. I was terrified, but to this day, I know she was an angel watching over me. But how? How do you know that? I guess, is it a leap of faith, Don? Is that what it is?
Well,
I mean, we hear about glowing apparitions all the time.
right, but maybe it's something that maybe what is happening is because of their belief, this is the way it's manifesting. Like, I asked, what good would it have been, to cover the windshield, the grandma's side of the windshield, and Kathy says maybe it got between them and evil. But evil what? I mean, like, was there like a evil presence heading their way, and
Maybe.
the angel, covered,
Shielded it.
Yeah, shielded it.
Yep.
Maybe it wasn't. It was on the wrong side, so it couldn't shield the grandson. So it sent a fireball to, manifest an orb to protect him.
Yeah, maybe that's a good point.
So okay, that's, but we want to hear the juicy stuff. We want to hear what. Oh my God, there was a dog man coming, and an angel appeared and ate the dog man. That would be much more entertaining.
So Vicky in the chat says, as far as miraculous healings, I broke my wrist, and women in a church prayed over it, and it healed before the prayer was over. Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, and someone else mentioned, I think it was Tighten Up, mentioned that, a similar thing. Lou says, I was momentarily healed by a woman's prayer when I was in the ER after a car accident that made me paralyzed, and I had a vision of God and Jesus and had never felt so good in my entire life.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
That's amazing. That is truly amazing. That's a lot of good things that work out there. So it's not all dark and dreary.
We have an open phone line, right? 720-923-0500.
Well, I know that for sure.
I'm just making sure they know it.
Oh, okay. Yep. By all means.
Let me type that in. That's 720-923-0500.
Yes, that's what it is. And it's now on the screen for you. Or it's above my head. If you want to look up there, there's the number. But
notice it's not in a halo.
Well, my halo doesn't show up on this camera.
Yeah, it's a back camera.
Yeah,
it's one of the best on market, but it's a back camera. It's not picking it up.
Oh, there's a call, just like that, Don.
There you go.
Just like that.
Ask and ye shall receive.
Yeah, way to bring the bounty. All right, this is area code 940. You're on the air.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, how are you guys doing?
We're good, man. We're good. We're just having a good time here. But who are we talking to? Just first name.
This is Justin from Austin, Texas.
Very cool.
Oh, hey, Justin.
Excellent, Justin.
Welcome. Thanks for calling in, brother. What's on your mind tonight?
Thanks. Well, you talk about angels and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
I had a bad car accident in 2007.
Oh, okay.
I flipped my car like 9 times, according to witnesses. I was on a country road.
Wow.
And I was going about 60, and I hit this curve, and I swerved to miss a cow.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God.
And so my car rolled. I ejected 80 feet from my car through and over a barbed wire fence.
Wow.
Oh, my God.
And you know what happened?
I don't.
I felt this angel just set me down, man. Like on in the middle of a mesquite pasture.
Wow.
And no brain damage, nothing. All I did was tore my ACL.
Really?
Oh, you are so fortunate.
That was it.
Wow.
That's amazing. You had no right even to be alive, did you?
I'm sorry?
I said you had no right even being alive at that
After that,
speed
yeah.
and being ejected from a car through a barbed wire fence.
Well, yeah, and I used to say, I should have died, but
Right.
I've kind of gotten away from that
Right.
mindset,
Good for you.
if you will.
Yep.
Yeah, so I just felt an angel's presence. Like, I think it was my cousin who passed away, like, in 2005.
Okay.
Oh,
And I felt her, and I just felt like I was just lied on the ground, you know what I mean? Just like in some kind of like paranormal, non-physical way. I don't know even how to describe it, but it was great. And but that was my experience, and I got away with. I was very lucky. I'm very blessed, and I don't take any day for granted anymore.
There
So,
you go.
but anyway, guys, I just love your show. Check me out. I'm Stoney Jenkins on
Oh, fantastic.
YouTube. Love you guys.
Oh, that's really
thanks,
cool,
buddy.
brother. Thanks for calling in and sharing the story, man.
Yeah,
That's
that's
awesome. It's great to hear
Right
from
on,
you.
man.
All right, brother. We'll talk to you soon.
You guys take care.
You too,
Okay,
bud.
see you now.
Yeah, Stoney Jenkins.
All right, bye.
Yeah, he's been in chat a couple times, so it's nice to hear. Yeah.
That is really
That's
cool.
kind of an awesome story, and being able to maybe identify the being or the angel, whatever you might want to call that, because I am who I am, as his cousin.
Yeah.
And so they must have really been close, and so that's awesome. That's an awesome story.
And I agree. So some people adhere to the idea that, well, angels are a different thing. They're not people.
Right.
But I disagree with that. I think that many times our loved ones can become our angels and can watch over us and keep us safe and protected. I believe in that wholeheartedly, and it stands to reason. Yeah, I saw that. I'm going to get to the other call.
Yeah,
too.
no, it does. I think you're right. I don't think there's, yeah.
Yep. Let's get to the other call here. And this is caller from area code 951. You're on the air.
Hey, it's Lou.
Hey, Lou.
Hey, Lou.
Now you can tell us
Hey,
about that accident.
Yeah. So it's funny that guy just said that he had a car accident. Sounds similar to mine because I think that I was told that I rolled, I think, like 5 or 6 times, and I'm pretty sure I hit a curb, which caused my truck to roll.
Okay.
But at the night that it happened, I was 19 and I was drinking a lot. I had a 0.42 blood alcohol level when they found me, so it must have been higher earlier.
Jeez.
And I had taken, I'll just say, well, I'd taken like ecstasy pills, and I was just a party animal at the time, and
Right.
I was walking, it was a walking blackout that night,
Right.
and pretty much all my memory of the driving part of it at the end of the night was wiped from my memory. The last thing I remember was walking out to my vehicle and clicking the unlock button and seeing the lights go off.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And then I got in a car accident about maybe 10 minutes later down the way, and when I woke up in the hospital, though, I found out I was paralyzed. My mom told me, and then at some point, it was kind of a haze because I was on, the whatever the drug they usually give you, morphine.
Okay.
And but like within a few days, there was a lady there, and her name was Christina. Oddly enough, her name had Christ in it, which is strange enough. But she met my mom in the waiting room, and she came into the room, and as soon as she turned the corner, I noticed how she had these bright blue eyes that still to this day, I've never seen anybody with such bright blue eyes. And she prayed for me, and while she was praying, all my pain just completely went away. And I take pain meds for my back pain, and I have nerve pain because of the accident, and so I kind of understand the opiate feeling.
Sure.
But it was and I was on morphine at the time, and that it never cures completely the pain.
Sure.
But when she prayed for me, it completely cured the pain, and even more than that, I was feeling really good. I'll just put it that way.
Right.
And and as she prayed for me, I don't remember exactly what I think she said something like, you're the Lord's child, or something like that. But as she prayed for me, I had a vision. It was like, it's like when you close your eyes and you could see through your eyelids, and everything's kind of red and yellowish.
Oh, sure.
It was like that, but it's not. It was much more than anything I've ever pictured in my mind. This image came into my mind of the kind of stereotypical Jesus with the long hair, and he was holding me, and I was an infant. It was like the pictures I'd seen of me as a baby.
Oh, wow.
And there was a figure next to him with the long white hair and the long beard, and the face was going in and out of focus. And so I can't really remember,
Right.
the face of God, which I don't think anybody not even in the Bible, nobody really knows what he looks. No, he doesn't have a look to his face.
Right.
Sure.
So I thought it was really crazy. But yeah, that was my miraculous healing, and it was it's indescribable feeling. It's really strange.
That's amazing. And man, that's powerful. And you have to feel like it's got to be an incredibly special feeling to know that you received that. I mean, you received that, whether it's the attention of the divine or what it is, but those kind of profound events have such incredible ramifications to the rest of our lives.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, my mom had kind of a weird thing happen to her too when she her and her ex-boyfriend, they spun out on the freeway going, freeway speed, like 70 miles per hour or something. I think they were in a Mazda Miata at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And she said they were spinning out and they were about to hit the median, the center divider. And I guess both of them, she said that both of them saw it and they talked about it afterwards, but she saw a white car appear out of nowhere and hit her car right before they hit the median.
Oh.
And then it just kept going, and they talked to people that pulled over after they quit spinning out and were on and stopped on the freeway and stuff, and everybody else was like, they were like, man, did you see that car? Why didn't that car stop for us? Like, that car that hit us before we hit the median, and everybody was like, "What? We don't know what you're talking about." But that car left a white paint splatter on her car.
Wow!
Not a scratch, but a white paint splatter.
Right. Like it
so
was,
maybe we have I don't know, maybe some ancestors looking out for us, or I don't know, but
right.
Yeah, we both had some crazy. Wow. Unexplainable experiences like that.
That's really cool. Very, very cool. I'm just thrilled that you called in. I'm thrilled that you called in, brother. That's really amazing. It's always great to get a chance to hear. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was just.
Oh, I story because it seemed it was weird that other guy said that he flipped his car and all this too.
Right, yeah.
And I had mentioned it.
That's the serendipity right there on the portal is, these shows, Don and I have tried for years to plan this show, but it just always kind of does what it does. And all of you guys are such a big part of that. And what you bring to the shows is absolutely amazing. Your encounter is beautiful and it's amazing.
Well, yeah, Stoney's was too. No doubt there.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, it's just crazy how, he actually said he was going to talk about UFOs because we don't do too many UFO shows anymore. Yeah. And he's got it there, and then he clicks on it, and it sends you to an angel page. Yep. And then here we are. We've got two great phone calls on with two people who have had these experiences, and that's what the show is about. There's no way to script that. Yep.
No, exactly. We have no idea.
Yeah, I think that the serendipity or synchronicities are happening more often now.
Yeah,
we live in strange times. Right? There's no doubt about it. I've been experiencing them like crazy. The other day, I had deja vu like 4 times, 5 times. I don't know how many times I had it. And then this podcast I watched called Edge of Wonder, the host started talking about, I keep having deja vu today. Right as I was about to ask other people in this Discord that I'm on if they're having deja vu as well, and I was like, "Dude, this is crazy."
Yeah.
It's funny how the answers come to us, and the information just finds you.
Yeah, for sure.
That's cool, brother. Well, thank you so much for calling in and being a part of tonight's show, and it's a pleasure to meet you as well.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure. Thanks, guys. I hope you have a good one.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Thanks, brother.
Thanks, bud. Wow.
That's awesome.
Two awesome calls.
Yeah, it's really amazing.
See, I said maybe you're supposed to talk about this stuff tonight.
That's how it is.
It.
That's how it is. Absolutely. I'm not fighting it, believe me. I mean, we've both been doing this for long enough that we know when things go sideways, they're supposed to go sideways.
Just let it go. See what happens. Absolutely.
We're on a journey.
We are. Wow.
And you are with us.
And so quickly, it seems we've gone through almost the first hour already.
Jeez.
Just that quick, yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. That's another aspect of the portal I'll never get used to.
Is the time?
Yeah, how fast it goes. There's just no way time should be going this fast. It's like, where the hell did everything go? What happened?
Right.
That's the journey we're on, ladies and gentlemen, but we got more of these stories, so I'll just continue through the list.
Absolutely.
No reason to interrupt it now because we're on a good roll here. So this one is called We Never Forget. I've never told this story, but when I was about 7 years old, I was left at home alone with my nephew, who was 3 at the time. Oh, my God. 7-year-old and a 3-year-old alone?
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
We were playing in a back room when something scared us. I don't remember what I saw or heard, but I knew I had to get out of that house or we were going to die. I clutched my nephew tightly and both of us screaming and crying and ran towards the front door. And just before reaching the exit, I saw a tiny ball of glowing white light hovering just above our front door. I stopped dead in my tracks. I could not take my eyes off of that ball. Suddenly, it started getting bigger and bigger, and eventually we were totally engulfed by this light. The next memory I have, I was floating inside this light, and it was the purest, most beautiful, soft light ever. And I was transfixed by it, and it felt so good. I can still feel it. And when I think about that day, inside the light, there was no sense of fear, pain, or worry. Somehow I knew everything was okay and we were going to be fine. And that's the whole story. But I mean, there's so many questions. It's like, but what happened? What happened? What was going on?
What made you think you were going to die if you weren't going to get out of that house? You know,
exactly.
And unfortunately, I doubt a 7-year-old would be able to really articulate that.
Sure. Although I'm, I think at the time of writing the story, he's no longer 7 years old.
Yeah, but if they didn't have a clear concept of what it was, they still wouldn't be able to write it.
Right. So, no, that's probably true. That they wouldn't have the situational awareness.
Right. Yeah.
As an adult would, but yeah, that's pretty bizarre. But cool. I'm glad that they were protected.
Yeah, definitely.
Now this one's I don't know what this has to do with angels, but it's called Orbs and Photographs.
Here we go again.
I have believed in angels all my life. In my younger years, I lived an exciting life, threw caution to the wind, and put myself in dangerous situations. I used to think I had worked my angels overtime. My life changed when orbs showed up in the photos I took at my son's wrestling tournament. I don't see things like that, no matter what other people say they've seen, and I was really upset. My middle and youngest son both told me not to worry. They believed they were guardian angels, and since then, I've captured a wonderful variation of these beautiful orbs. One has moth-like wings, gorgeous pink on the top, and fairy green on the bottom. And again, since this one was so different, I was a bit upset again. But when I'm out with them, I always feel so happy. They are playful, fun-loving, and I feel they are a blessing to me. They've helped me with unreasonable fears, and I have peace and serenity like never before, and see God's hand on everything now. Light and love, and they go together. Well, that's beautiful. I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's orb photography is a tough thing, in and of itself. But here's the good side of that. Like maybe this person really was capturing orbs. Maybe they weren't. I don't know. It doesn't matter because what those photos were doing for this person is so profound in that it was giving her a sense of love and peace,
right,
and not being alone. So no harm, no foul, in my mind. I mean, was it really orbs? Well, I don't know. We don't have any photos to look at, and you can never say for sure anyway. But unless you can test the equipment, do test shots,
right,
duplicate the scenes and see what you can do. But, there's no way to know. But this person believes that they're there. And that's what really matters, is because it was serving a profound purpose for this person, and that makes it beautiful regardless.
Right.
And so that's cool. I mean, and that's kind of the power of faith, I think, in many, whatever you believe. And this isn't about one religion over another or anything like that. It's just about in knowing you're not alone. And I think in many cases, religions give us that. They give us the sense that we're not alone. There's a purpose for all this, and there's a path, and there's an end game involved, and we're working towards something. And that's what these orbs were representing for this person. So good for them. I mean, again, we don't have the photos to say either way, but if these orbs serve such an amazing purpose, then cool. I'm good with it.
Right.
It doesn't need to be debunked or disproven and to erase the beauty from that person's experience.
Right. Well, that's like I told that story about I was driving home one night from the show, and I get to the railroad tracks that are right there next to my house, and I stop, and there's a train going by. So I take a picture of the train, and somebody asks, somebody says, Don, look at all those orbs right in front of you. I'm like, no, it's my windshield. It's like, I know it's my windshield. I turned on my windshield wipers, and I washed my windows and took another picture. I said, just a dirty window.
Yep.
But you're right. If you see something and you believe that that's what it is, more power to you. But, let me reserve the right to disagree.
Well, sure. I mean,
now I may not
can.
say anything out loud.
Right.
That's probably the best way to do it. Crushing somebody's, belief system or even making them doubt for a second about that kind of thing is not my job. My job is to just look at it critically and go, yeah, no. But I'll share that with my friends, like you folks and this guy over here. I'll share that with you. I don't think so. But
yeah.
If somebody's, this is what happened, well then, excellent.
Yeah, I mean, if it serves a good purpose, I don't know. It certainly doesn't harm anyone else unless they're trying to use that to quantify some some silliness or some delusions. Then you got to step in and go, wait a minute, that's a belt buckle lens flare.
Yeah, exactly. But that is clearly a spider web.
This means I'm God's chosen and I can do whatever I want. No, that's a belt buckle flare. That's a lens flare. You're not getting the approval of the divine for that. No, I'm just kidding. But people having belief is fine as long as it doesn't stampede all over everyone else.
Right.
All right, so let's go into the next one. Being touched on the back while asleep. It's actually written like Tarzan. Being touched on back while asleep.
You're going to hell now, mocking that person's.
I just get a kick out of some of these headers are just written like Tarzan would say them. Flashy cameraman. All right. Last year was the worst in my life. In 6 months, I lost my brother-in-law. My younger brother passed away, and I had an adult son and family removed from my house, and I divorced my absent husband. Wow, that's a horrible run.
That's a bad year.
Yeah, that's a tough run for that person. I'm sorry that they went through so much. I cried years of tears at unexpected times, and when I went to bed, I prayed longer and harder than ever, and I asked the Lord through tears to please give me a sign that he was walking with me. At 3 a.m., I awoke to warm hands on my back, and I sat straight up, and I was alone in the house, and believe it was God giving me a sign. He was with me. I wasn't afraid, just irritated that someone laid hands on me, and then it hit me who actually it was, and I drifted off to a peaceful sleep. Oh, there you go again. And it didn't take much. It's not like, the river had to part and, there wasn't locust swarms.
Right.
And it was just a nice touch.
Right.
And that's kind of cool. It didn't have to be a plague of showing the strength and power of the Lord. It was just a warm, loving touch. So that's the coolest kind of story.
Yeah.
When it doesn't wreck everyone else's day. I was going to go camping, but all these locusts appeared.
Which reminds me of a meme I saw,
Oh,
which
really?
I told you I wouldn't talk about.
Oh, okay.
So I'll leave it alone.
All right. Beautiful bright light is the next one. I've never experienced anything like this, but it was amazing. Every night I will say a prayer. Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. Guard me, Jesus, through the night, and wake me with the morning light. That's not the same as the one I heard, but anyway, it's beautiful.
Lots of permutations.
Yeah, and it actually happened to me When I woke up out of nowhere, I saw a beautiful bright light filling up my room. I thought maybe somebody turned on the light, but I remember the light in my room is really dim. And then I thought about my window, but I keep the blinds closed all the time. And I soon went back to sleep with a great feeling and a sense of amazing security. That's beautiful. Very cool. The bright white lights. And they didn't die, because isn't that like if I should die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take. That's the version I heard. This one is called Morning Sun Angel. It started with me seeing a figure at the end of my bed, and I also keep seeing purple, green, and white balls of light in my room at night. One night I just laid down. Suddenly I was outside staring at this woman who had long black hair. Her wings covered the whole of the sky. She was massive. I asked her what she wanted, shouting at her, and she smiled and told me she was the angel of the morning sun. She flapped her wings 3 times, and my body went all funny. I was back in my room, and I could see myself lying in bed. And I was on my ceiling. What? They could see their body, but they were out of body on the ceiling. Okay. I straight away researched the angel of the morning sun, and I found scriptures of her and pictures. It was 1,000% the same angel. I'm still freaked out to this day, as I have never heard of her before, and also didn't believe in this type of thing. Wow. That's kind of cool. That's a huge angel, it sounds like, though, right?
Yeah.
That's big. And all right, bright light is the next one. I was sitting in the garden with my 7-year-old son. Suddenly, I could see out of the corner of my eye a really very bright light. And I looked to the left and down, and the bright light was on an ornamental angel in the flower bed. Then suddenly, the light disappeared. I've looked on the internet, and it says I was visited by my guardian angel. Oh, that's beautiful. Another beautiful story. Nothing incredibly over-the-top profound, but still a huge thing. This one's called Reaching Out. I was 4 years old. I was in my brother's room crying, and this is when I heard a sweet voice calling to me. I looked up towards the footboard and saw a woman with long hair lying on her right shoulder, and she had a white flowing cloth and light blue trimming surrounded by a white mist. Her arms were extended out with her palms facing upward as if she wanted to embrace me. She whispered to me, "Come with me, I love you," in Spanish. I kept looking at her, and when I heard the bedroom door open, I screamed as I saw my mom walk into the room. She ran to the bed and lifted me up in her arms and ran out of the room, and she sat down and started praying over me and kept pouring a sweet fragrance on my head. I was not afraid of the lady, but I don't know what happened between the time the door was opening and when I started screaming. We moved out several months later. However, to this day, I know I have someone watching over me and protecting me. Just stay here. It was signed by Just Stay Here. Okay. That's strange. So the mom, it sounds like the mom saw it as well, right?
Right. It sounds like the mom saw something different, though.
Oh, so it wasn't maybe a beautiful angelic being.
Right. Maybe it was.
It was something else.
Maybe it was an imposter.
Ah, that's creepy.
And the mom saw through it.
Well, that's good. I'm glad the mom came when it did. That's
and then
horrible.
Started anointing the poor child in that ugly smelling oil.
Well, I mean, it might have been beautifully
Well,
smelling.
that might be true.
I mean, it must be lovely. Maybe it's patchouli.
No, God, no. God.
Give me some patchouli oil.
God, you get one way to keep me out of the house.
Was that all I need?
Oh, God.
I'm just joking.
It's it. How you doing? Brent?
I shaved on.
Yeah, okay, great.
Let's continue on before this goes
my.
further downwards. God answered our prayers in his timing. I prayed that God would show me an angel, and he did twice. Many years after I prayed for this. Both encounters happened when I was sleeping. I suppose angels will come and visit us on an occasion when we would be most relaxed and receptive to their visitations. The first encounter I had, I was in a dream state, walking along a dark path at night. And then suddenly, the entire environment setting lit up with an incredibly pure, bright light, as if the sun itself was shining on me. Suddenly, I woke up and no one was in the dark bedroom that I could see. So I asked in bewilderment, what was that? As if it was someone and I was speaking to, and no voice or words came forth, but the angel conveyed thoughts and pictures to my mind telepathically, showing me that I left the side door of the garage open with a picture in my mind, and I was reminded to close the door and to lock it. So I thanked the angel and got out of bed, and sure enough, the door was wide open. That's kind of cool. So you got to wonder, if that door had not been closed,
What might have happened?
who might have come in and what might have happened in this situation. No, I'm thinking like some kind of deranged, Ted Gein kind of guy or something. I mean, really. That's, well, yeah. Was it? Oh, it's Ed Gein. Okay, yeah, whatever. I'm not really brushed up on my serial killers. Ted Bundy. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, I mean, could it be something like that? So, thank God, I guess.
Yeah.
It's a better not to know. Red lights is next. When I'm at work, I encounter a very intense red light which shines for about 4 seconds and then disappears. When I've seen this light, I've asked others present if they could see it, but they all say no. I wondered if I was seeing things, so I don't always say something when it appears. But a couple of weeks ago, it appeared, and one of the people with me actually saw it. In the building where I work, it is impossible for this light to shine in. I saw it again, but no one else has. So some red light. Now, that could just be a spirit kind of thing, though. That doesn't necessarily imply angelic or something of that nature, but
Right.
ooh, this one sounds dark. It's called Death Angel. When I was 20 years old, I was almost 9 months pregnant, and I was sitting on my bed, wide awake, a vision of, well, the best way I can explain it, a bright light came into my room. The vision, as best as I can say, was like a man, but his facial features were lion-like and seemed to have a bright light shining through, and I don't know how else to explain it. I wish I could draw it, but I'm not artistic, and I'm 42 years old now, and this has haunted me to this day. That night, my baby died due to the umbilical cord. An angel took him, and I have no doubt of that at all. Oh, that's so sad.
Yeah.
Wow. But I guess the beauty of it is that some divine being showed up and at least gave the person that kind of closure or comfort.
Right.
That's still so tragic. Oh. So this one's called Amazed. When I was younger, I was going through a lot that a young 16-year-old girl shouldn't have to endure. You can try to imagine. My mother and I were arguing a lot, and she was really very angry because she was going through things of her own. And she took it out on my little brother and me. I went to sleep one night after crying and praying to God, and I prayed for hours until I drifted off to sleep. I woke in the middle of the night to a bright light in my doorway. It was so bright that I had to squint my eyes to look at this beautiful light. Then a very tall and what appeared to be a man walked out of the light to the edge of my bed and kneeled down over me. Excuse me. He spoke my name and put his hand on my arm and started to whisper something in my ear. I could not understand what he was trying to tell me because as soon as he touched my arm, I started feeling really, really tired and fell back to sleep. He made me feel so much comfort. I still think of my angel until this day. Wow. That's harsh, man. Little kids go through so much. They bear the burden of so much pain sometimes. I'm glad that there was something divine to show up and make that better. Right, Don?
Yes.
Yes.
Sorry, I got caught not listening.
Oh, all right.
I'm thinking about this. Apparently Heather made an apple crumb pie.
Oh,
And she says that she's up knee deep in cinnamon and sugar.
okay.
Wondering if it still counts as a fruit. Well, cinnamon is wood, and She said she sprinkled it with nutmeg, which makes you hallucinate. Sounds like a great time.
All right.
Maybe that's why she's knee deep in cinnamon and sugar.
That could be. So this one is called The Presence. Not long ago, my father was diagnosed with stage 4 bladder cancer. Oh, man. And was not given much hope for survival past Christmas season. Although the odds were devastatingly against him, he chose to go through with a round of chemo to take some comfort in the idea that he tried everything he could to be cured. And although God had other plans, I take comfort in my faith that he will be taken care of by Christ and the angels themselves. I was up in the wee hours of the morning after not being able to sleep. In my unending thoughts and prayers, I stood in my driveway in the moonlight and meditated with chills, indicating the presence of the Holy Spirit. I prayed, my cat kept clawing. As I prayed, my cat kept clawing and biting my ankles. And I then telepathically said, Jesus, can you please stop this annoying cat from biting my ankles while I'm trying to talk to you? At that very second, the cat refrained and sat up in a calm state, although he still followed me as I strolled about the driveway. Coincidence? Question mark. I mean, if you got to ask the Lord for something, hey, Lord, will you take care of my annoying cat for a minute? I'm trying to pray here. All right, so this is Angel in the Navy. I had no idea they enlisted. But let's find out what happened to the Angel in the Navy. There's still quite a few of these. In 1974, while stationed in Pearl Harbor, someone had been drinking with we read this one before. I remember this one. These are all these people tripping on LSD. Remember, Don?
I just posted about nutmeg having an LSD-like effect.
Okay. So in 1974, while stationed in Pearl Harbor, someone I had been drinking with spiked my wine with LSD, and he did this so with several others. I remember this story. This is really wild. We all went back to the base barracks, and some of the guys were going crazy. I prayed for help, and a sailor opened his door and asked what was wrong. I told him, and he asked me to get to everyone and bring them to his room. And I did, and he asked if we believed in God, and we all shared our experience about God, and that is when I noticed I was sober. It was way too soon for the LSD to wear off, and it can be an 18-hour experience after all, and it had only been a few hours since our drinks had been spiked. The next day I went to the room to thank that guy, and when I went to that room, no one had been in that room for months. I was in communications, and there had been no ship movements. No one but the guys who had their drinks spiked remembers the man, and it's been a mystery for nearly 40 years. There can be only one explanation, that sailor was either a ghost or an angel because of how he spoke of God. I believe he was an angel. So, the Lord can bring you back down, apparently. If you're tripping balls, just pray. Just pray. just pray, because the Lord can help you. Just saying, you might need that. You might need that knowledge someday. I'm not making fun of it. I swear to God, it's just kind of funny that these guys would have been a hell of a lot of trouble, and that's kind of cool that that was delivered from them. My father came to me. My father passed away on February 1st, 2012, and soon afterwards, I had a dream that my father was waiting for me, but the closer I came to him, the further he moved away. He was standing at the top of a flight of stairs, which was very high, and I could not get to him. It was as if he was watching over me, and then a few nights ago, he appeared as an angel to my mom's neighbor who was sleeping in Mom's bed. He just stood there and then disappeared after she told him my mom was being taken care of by me, and she is fine. I miss him so much. Oh, that's nice. So he came back to check on his wife, and the lady who was staying at the house looking after it while she was with the child, the daughter, she explained that he's okay, or she's okay, and that she's being taken care of.
Right.
Yep.
Why does that remind me of a podcast we just did?
I'm sure there's many of these stories we've done. Yeah.
No. An interview you had with, was it with Annie? Annie from Washington?
Well, there was a story kind of similar to this. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And from Annie. Yep. So that is kind of a correlation. But yeah, that was it knelt by her bed. Is the podcast Don is talking about? It knelt by her bed or it kneeled by her bed, something like that. Whatever I called it. So this is Moonville, Ohio Angels. Moonville, Ohio is an old town that was overtaken by a plague. Almost everyone died. And all that's left of the town is a tunnel. We went through the tunnel and 3 of my grandsons climbed to the top of the hill, and there was a thin beam of light that looked like a sword, and it was right in front of us. I couldn't see when I looked up to take a picture. The light was so bright. But I took the picture anyway. When we got back to our cabin, I looked at the picture, and there was a bubble in the middle of the thin beam of light, and it was right in front of my grandson, Jordan. And Jordan had lost his father at 9 months old, and he was killed by a train. When I blew up the picture, there were angels as plain as day, looking right at Jordan. My 5-year-old granddaughter, Mason, said, "I told you, Mommy, I saw an angel." I have the picture of the angels in the bubble, and I want to share with the world what a blessing we saw at Moonville that day.
Wow.
That's pretty cool. This one's Angelic Words. My angel spoke to me once and told me his name. It happened when I came back from shopping, and my mom told me to ask who my angel was, and I was barely forming the question when he told me one name, Gabriel.
Huh.
Afterwards, I could feel him standing near me in a soft light with golden swirls. I guess if you're going to have an angel, that's a pretty good one to have.
I have a question, though.
Okay.
Why don't they have a Frank?
They might.
You know,
This was Gabriel, though.
Yeah, but Gabriel's an archangel.
He is.
And so is Michael.
Yeah.
Why do people always see Michael and Gabriel and Raphael?
Mm-hmm.
So why is it always an archangel that people see and not just like your average seraphim?
I don't know. Have to take it up with the
powers that
divine.
be?
Yeah, I'm not in charge of that.
Call down the megaton.
I don't know why these people are assigned. I guess these people need a lot of work.
Apparently so. You know,
You got to call in the supervisors on this one.
Somebody call the boss. This one's just beyond me.
Yeah, this is more than I can handle. Let's get the boss. All right. This one's called Digital Angel.
Oh.
Hold on, got a cough.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Is that like Centerfold Angel from like the Jay Gals band?
Maybe. Since there really isn't centerfolds as much anymore.
Well, you know.
A digital angel. Well, I had 2 angels. One when I was 10, and I heard someone whisper my name, but no one was there. Sounds a lot like a ghost. The angel communicates with me by using digits and the clock. Last night, I was on my iPad and randomly felt someone lightly squeeze or touch my arm. I was confused at first and started looking around, but no one was there. Excuse me. So I looked at the time, and it was 2:23. I just missed 222, one of the times that they let me know that they're there. I was amazed. Well, we see that all the time, though.
Well, you know, it always makes me wonder, you know, because people always report, well, yeah, I saw the number 123.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my clock, it just turned 123 or 222. Well, I'm sorry, but if you're sitting there looking at your clock at 221 and staring at it just so you can see 222, I think you're cheating.
It doesn't count. It's not counting. It has to be spontaneous.
So, you know, it's refreshing to hear that it was 223 and it was the second after or the minute after.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, well, I felt it, but it was a minute, you know, I didn't notice it or, you know, didn't realize enough to look at the clock at the right time.
Sure.
So, but... You know, I think waiting for 12:34 because it's 12:33 is cheating.
That's true. That's true. But I'll tell you that, you know, in numerology or, you know, which is what most of this idea or belief of numbers having, you know, meaning, right. the triple numbers are incredibly profound usually, and it's because it's a amplifier of sorts. It's like, you know, the multiples of the same number are specifically pretty profound. Right. I mean, there's many other numbers, of course, that are profound or can give you some real guidance, but the triple numbers are incredibly profound, and I see them quite a bit too. You know, the only one I can't say I've seen is 666 or 999.
That happened the other day. Oh, Yeah,
What?
I'm not going to talk about that on. Well, when I was getting ready to leave work, I got to do a lot of paperwork, and one of the numbers that came up one day was $6.66,
Ooh,
and it was just recently. I'm like,
just
no,
cringe.
no.
Oh, no.
But you know what's funny though is I was in cooking today.
Mm-hmm.
I was making up lunch, and I look up the clock, and it's 2:22, and I go, oh, I got to do this thing, and so I go out to do the thing, and I come back. And it's 2:34. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? It's been 12 minutes since I looked at it. It felt longer, like
Yeah.
it took longer, but it was only 12 minutes, and it was 2:34. Now that's not cheating. I literally 2:22 came back 2:34. It's weird. I think it's just weird.
That's strange, but it's just one of those old wisdoms, so to speak. Numerology is,
Right.
yeah. I think that's probably true. That in many cases, the spirit world or the divine world or whatever, that they can communicate through symbols the most easily, and that's where we have to do, some research on our own, because they're not often using disembodied voices to say, hey, you need to knock that off. So they'll give you cues or clues and stuff, and you need to pay attention. And once you start looking into this stuff, it gets pretty profound.
Right.
And maybe it's psychosomatic more than anything.
Right.
Maybe we have this internal clock that just knows when that time should be happening, and causes us to look, so that we'll get the deeper, more profound message. And who knows? But I tend to believe it's given to us, and that it's meant to teach us something or to point out something. And oftentimes, I always look up the angel numbers, because I find those really sweet and encouraging, and especially with these time sequences like 222,
Right.
333, 444, 555.
Right.
I find those really incredibly encouraging. So I always look them up when I see them, and I'm starting to remember them now, which is good. But it's just an idea that maybe we're getting messages all the time. We just got to learn to see them, see the signs.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Or at least, if you do see the sign, to recognize what it is you're doing at the time. Because maybe you're doing something you're supposed to be doing. And if you look up in numbers in descending order, like 543, 543, are, those clues that something's going backwards, literally, or, not doing. So, but anyhow. Yeah.
Right. Who's our boy, Hetty?
What?
Hetty says, how's our boy? I don't know who's our boy, so you have to let me know what you're talking about, and I'll let you know if I know how he is.
I wonder if she's asking about the minion.
Oh, well, he's great. He's always great. But thanks, if that's what you're asking about, he's great. He's a little sweetheart. Just melts me every day. He's got such a good heart, It's so gentle heart. It's like, aw. I don't know. He says the sweetest thing. His latest thing is, Dad, I love you 1 billion.
1 billion.
He made up his own big number. He's like, I love you 1 billion.
That's awesome.
I'm like, wow, you really love me a lot. Yeah, he's doing great, Hetty. Thanks for asking. He's a wonderful one. He's an amazing child. All my kids are amazing, though. I'm very fortunate, but I'm obviously biased, but I really believe they are.
1 billion.
I love you 1 billion, Dad. I'm like, wow, that's a lot of love. All right, so the next one is Bus Stop Angel. It said, I had a difficult 2 years full of losses, sadness, and major changes. I was recently diagnosed with depression. I had some very strange experiences and some moments of pure bliss. One day I was sitting at the bus stop, and something that I couldn't see sat next to me. Something so beautiful that I felt pleasure and tingling all along that side of my body. A very spiritual friend said that it was evil, but I didn't feel it was evil. I think it was an angel that wanted to guide me, and it has done just that through the chance encounter with a friend of a friend who has set me on the right path to healing all of my hurt and resolving my depression, and more. This friend of a friend is like an angel here on earth for me. And that's an interesting point. I think that people can be angelic as well, in that, sometimes we are driven or caused or given inspiration to do things that we don't always understand.
Mm-hmm.
And by whatever you attribute that to, if you attribute to God or you attribute to the universe or whatever, it doesn't matter. But I think that we can become people's angels as well. Just being at the right place at the right time, or
Right, just listening.
just listening. Sometimes it's just as simple as that. Just letting someone express themselves and to be able to talk and to share and to make those connections. And sometimes it can be profound, like just we hear stories. I was inspired to go to this one place I'd never been, and
Right.
I went there, and then there was somebody that really needed help, and nobody was able to help, but I was there, and so I was able to to do that. And I think those are absolutely profound. But I think the term angel, oftentimes we think it's just these winged beings with shining light and halos,
Right.
but it could be your pet. Your pet could be your angel.
Right.
It could be a loved one who passed away that's become your angel. Could be your sibling that steps up like an angel and comes through for you when you really need it.
Right.
I think the term angel is really an ambiguous term in most senses, that it can mean a lot of different things. So, and none of them are less profound than the other. I think they all are incredible. So I think we always have angels around. We just gotta
Look for the signs, like you said. Keep
Yep.
your eyes open.
keep your eyes open. You could be the angel.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I think so.
Or
So,
in this case, it could be a friend of a friend. How?
yeah,
Why would they only be a friend of a friend, though?
heard it from a friend who.
Oh, boy.
Sorry, REO Speedwagon.
Yes.
Come on.
Oh, I know.
I went back
I
in
know some.
time. I went into my mental time machine, ladies and gentlemen, back to the 80s. I was there. All right. Let's go to the next one. I am just a bit random tonight.
Oh, that's okay.
Are you okay over there?
Yeah, Abe Bauman is trying to tell a story, but not really telling this story, and I keep telling him. But I think they want to save it for Duke, so
Oh,
I'll stop pushing.
Holding out on us, huh?
stop pushing.
Holding out on us in our own chat room, even, eh?
Well, I think somebody's happy to get to talk to Duke, so.
Oh, well, Duke's got, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, definitely check out World Bigfoot Radio. Our very own Duke Sullivan, he's got an amazing channel over there on YouTube, so definitely check him out. Hello, Brent and the Paranormal Friends. Hello, Shelly. Thanks for coming in. Shelly Starwalker, good to see you. I'm glad you found us, and welcome. Welcome to our show. All right, here's another one. Angel Help. Oh, Bus Stop Angel. Did I do that one?
Phone call.
Phone call. Okay. It just came in, too. Well, let's get to this phone call and find out what's going on. And this is area code 812. You're on the air.
Am I really on the air?
You
Yes.
really are. I promise. It's the real thing.
Oh, cool. Hold on here. Let me I gotta shut some stuff off here.
Oh, sure,
Okay.
sure. Do whatever you need.
Sorry about that, buddy.
That's no worries.
I probably need to mute.
Oh,
I need to mute the
okay.
feed. Sorry.
Nope, take your time. It's fine.
Hold on, buddy.
Okay.
There you go. All right, guys. Can you hear me all right now?
Yeah, we're hearing you great.
Okay. I live in Indiana. I live in the southern part of Indiana. I've lived down here since the early 90s.
Uh-huh.
When I come down here and went to college. And my first experience with anything paranormal or whatever happened while I was deer hunting with my buddies.
Okay.
So that's kind of what got me into the whole deal. I went with my buddies to a place to hunt, and it was an old guy had a little farm, and he'd let us deer hunt during bow season, and I'd gotten a deer there, and so we went there for opening day of gun season.
Mhm.
Well, we decided we'd go there. We'd get there about an hour before daylight,
Mhm.
trying to beat all the other hunters in. And I had picked out a spot to hunt in the woods that was about 300 yards in, and my cousin stayed on the outside edge of the woods. And this area was like it made like a bowl down the bottom, and it had 4 ravines that came in on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was on top of one of them, looking down in the ravine. And that morning it had been like misty, and it was overcast, so it was like pitch dark black in there. You couldn't see anything. And so I decided, I know it's not the smartest thing in the world, but back then I didn't have tree stands like a climber hunting, so I was hunting on the ground. And I ended up finding that area, and I started to walk back into the woods to where I was going, dropped my cousins off the edge of the field.
Mm-hmm.
And I got about halfway back, and I hear something, and so I wasn't using my flashlight. I was just trying to kind of feel my way back because I knew where the path was. And I thought I better turn the light on in case somebody's hunting back here. So I flipped the light on, and there's a deer standing up on the ravine beside me. So I shut it off real quick, and then I continued on back through the trail there, and I get back to where I'm sitting. And I leaned my gun up against a tree, and I'm standing there. I was probably there maybe 15 or 20 minutes. I mean, we were there way before daylight, so I couldn't even see my hand in front of my face.
Mm-hmm.
And so on my right, which was in the deeper part of the woods, I'm hearing something walking, and it's coming. And I'm thinking to myself, the deer hunters are pushing them in here, and I'm going to get a good shot. And whatever this is going to come down and be within 30 yards of me, right down in the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm sorry if I'm sounding nervous because I'm a little nervous here, but
That's okay.
Anyway, this thing comes in. It kind of goes past me just a little bit, and it stops, and it stopped walking, and I'm sitting there and I'm looking down in the dark, and I'm listening. I can't hear anything, and then all of a sudden, it was like you ever seen the old cartoon Felix the cat with the eyes with the slits in them?
Oh, sure.
These eyes lit up in the dark. They had slits on them, and they were, I'm guessing, they were probably the size of a softball, about that size. And at first, when I seen it, I thought to myself, somebody's come in here with some coon hunter lamps on, and they're messing with me. And so I sit there and I'm watching it, and it's looking back at me. But when I'm looking at it, it's like it's not lighting the ground up around it or anything. I can't see the shape of it, but it's probably up off the ground. I'm guessing 7-8 feet off the ground, and the eyes. And so just as quick as it had come in, it stood there and it was like looking in my direction. And you know, you've heard them talk about like the mind speak or whatever. It was kind of like something like that. And I had this feeling it said to me, I just wanted you to know that I'm here. And then just as quick as the lights appeared, it was like they just winked out, or they either turned its head and closed its eyes or whatever, and then it just continued and walked out, and I listened to it walk out all the way to the edge of the field.
Wow.
Oh, my
and
God.
Gone, and then just kind of took off. But anyway, that was one of the experiences that I've had. I around the same time where we lived at, over in that area, we would see these lights at night. And these lights that would appear, they were like orange balls of light.
Uh-huh.
And these orange balls of light, what they would do is they would come on, and there wasn't any other blinking lights around or nothing else on them other than they looked like a little mini sun, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And so one would appear, then it would wink out, and then another one would appear over to the right or left, and it'd wink out, and then sometimes 2 or 3 of them would appear, and then they would merge together as one. And I had a buddy, he's an older guy, he's a Vietnam vet. He's been a sniper in Vietnam, so he was into special forces and different things like that. And so I went up to his house one night. We were standing there on the back of his porch, and I saw those lights out there, and he lived up on a big hill. He said it was called a glacial dome is what they called it, where the glaciers had come in and kind of pushed all the dirt up, and it was real high, and you could see forever. And so we're standing there, and we're watching these things, and they make like a triangle pattern, and like one goes inside of another one, and this and that. So I'm standing there watching it, and I told him, I said, bud, do you think those are illumination flares or, military flares?
Mm-hmm.
And he looked at me, and he told me, he said, there's no way. He said, those military flares, they don't go up, they come down. And so I'd seen that, and then I had like a few years later, I had an encounter with I don't know what this thing was. It in the middle of the night, it kicked on our floodlights, and I got up to use the bathroom. And I thought I'd left the lights on the back porch of the house, so I went and looked through the back window. And I as I'm looking through the back window, I clicked down the blinds on the window, and there's this cloaked being standing there face to face with me on the window, at the window. And as I looked at it, this thing slowly backs up, and it turns sideways, and it starts cutting across the yard at an angle. And as it gets halfway across the yard at an angle, I notice it doesn't have any legs. This thing is floating on the ground, off the ground.
Oh my God!
And where our window was at, in order for you to be able to look into that window, you'd have to be 7 feet at least, or bigger, to look through that window, because we set up kind of high, where like you stand on the ground, you wouldn't be able to look into the window. So as this thing cuts across the yard, it gets right to the edge of the tree line, and I can see. I saw it so good, the detail on this thing, that as it turned, I could see every ripple in the fabric of this thing, whatever this thing was. It looked like it had a shimmer to it, like it was like a silk type of a cloth. And as this thing shot across the yard, the farther it got to the tree line, the faster it got. As soon as it got to the tree line, it was like somebody reached down and grabbed a napkin right out of a, tissue paper right out of a tissue box, and ripped it right up into the air. It just gone in the blink of an eye. I mean, it was just that quick.
Right.
But
That's amazing.
anyway, that's what's got me wanting to the paranormal
Now
thing, because I've seen. Go ahead.
Let me ask you. You said it was cloaked, but how did you see it? I mean, you say was it cloaked?
I don't mean like it had a black cloak on, like a black like a black reaper, like black grim reaper cloak.
Okay.
Is what I'm talking about.
Okay, I got you.
That's why I could see the ripples in the fabric of whatever this thing was, but it wasn't no bigger than probably, I'm going to say 3.5, 4 feet tall at the most.
Oh my God!
Wow.
And so anyway, we've got some crazy things like that going on here. In 2018, with me and my mom, I took her mushroom hunting in an area where it's probably about 8 miles from the house here.
Mm-hmm.
And we were I took her there because the water had come up in the creek. It was a little early. It was in April. It was a little early, and it was still kind of cold. Well, it was pretty decent cold out, but anyway, it had pushed all the leaves out. Well, she had fell one year, and I didn't want her falling, so I took her in a place where she could walk around nice and have a chance of finding mushrooms. And so I went down in the creek and kind of circled around. She kind of stayed up by the car. And when I come around the edge of the creek, I come up on the bank, and there was like a little depression in the ground where the water kind of drained down into the creek. And so as I'm standing there, I hear this branches cracking and snapping going through the woods up above me, and I look down, and there's a little tiny baby footprint. And it was, I worked in a hospital and helped deliver babies, so I know what a human footprint looks like because they take footprints of babies at the hospital all the time. But the difference between this footprint and a little tiny baby's footprint was that this footprint is looks like an adult footprint. It's slender. It's not chubby like you'd expect a little baby's footprint to be. And so I told my mom, I said, circle way around. I said, I want you to come up here and look at this and tell me what you think it is. I told her because I said, I'm going to try to track this. I've hunted deer for over 30 years and found stuff that people have lost and tracking, so I thought I'll try to track this. So he swings way up and around, didn't affect the area where it was at, nothing, stayed back. And so I start tracking and trying to figure out where this thing went, and I can't find any other footprints. There's this one little baby footprint. Now we were standing at, the ground was soft, and it had we'd made impressions in the ground, just kind of light impressions, but this was so fresh. This track was so fresh that it had just been made, and it was like down in the ground deeper than what we were making impressions, but there was no other human footprints or anything else around. And I tried to track it for about 45 minutes. I couldn't find another track. So I ended up casting it. I went back the next day and I cast it, and I had that print, and I took it to a place called Crypticon down in Kentucky and showed it to Cliff Brockman. And I told him, I said, I don't know what this thing is. I said, I have no clue. I said, but to me, I said, it's unusual. We only found one. And he got to looking at it, and he said, what would it take for me to get this from you? And I said, well, I said, if you want it, I'll just give it to you. And he said, no way. And he offered me anything I wanted on his table. And I said, no, that's all right. But he ended up giving me a picture or something. But he emailed me, and the picture, that footprint is on his webpage.
Oh, really?
And, yeah, and he's going to put it in his museum he set up in Oregon, wherever he lives at up there. But you can see that on his cliffbrockman.com. You can see that. It's called Impressions or something on there. You look, you click on it, and you can see it's like the last print, or it was the last print on the list. And he said it was one of 4 of the smallest ever found. So I don't know, but anyway, I've been into this paranormal stuff, and my neighbors had a sighting. They seen he's a preacher. Him and his wife, they saw a Bigfoot cross the road down by our house here in 2004. And not only that, but we've had some UFO sightings here. I actually have a thumb drive that has almost 200 photographs of the UFO that I shot right here by the house. I used a Canon Rebel XT with a long zoom lens on it, and I got pretty decent photographs of it. And I need to have that analyzed by somebody at some point. But I've got the hospital where I work at, one of the nurses that I work with, her dad, that story I was trying to tell online there was, her dad was mushroom hunting last spring, and he saw a mantis being and a squatch in the same area where he was mushroom hunting. And he said the mantis being was probably about 7 foot tall. And he said when the thing took off, it saw him, and it took off. He said it was like this black portal thing opened up in the ground, and it shot straight down into the ground.
Wow. Oh, my God.
So I'm going to be interviewing him at some point in the future. I don't know yet when that'll happen, but at some point it will.
Wow.
But I went to a MUFON, like a little thing they have at a library or whatever a few years back, and they had a guy that had been an ex-police officer at this MUFON thing, and he this happened up around Marion, Indiana, and he talked about how they put him under. He had been abducted, like he got out of his car, and he said like his car shut off. He got out and went to look, popped the hood, and he said the next thing he remembered, he was standing by the car. He was throwing up. Well, I guess they end up putting this guy under hypnotic regression, and he sees these mantis-looking type beings on a craft. Oh. And then they had another guy, it was a farmer who was in the south down here, that he'd seen a couple mantis beings, but I don't think they had abducted him. But they went and they did some kind of radioactive testing around his vehicle, and they found like some kind of magnetic anomalies and some radiation signals around his truck where these things were standing. So,
oh man,
that's my stories, man. I'm sorry I was so quick.
Wow. No, yeah.
And
no, you did
and
great.
nervous.
But I got you. I got the cast from Cliff's page up on the screen now, so it's there.
Well, I'll tell you about that cast. That picture that's on his website. Why he did this, I don't understand why, but that picture is a picture of the replicas. He made me 2 replicas and sent them to me, and those pictures is of one of the replicas. But the pictures that I've got, you can see every individual toe and all of the distinguishable features in the footprint. And I have the photographs. I've actually have like 10 by 12 photographs of those, and I even laid like newspaper down on the ground with the date on it to get reference of size and everything. But like that picture really doesn't do it justice on that website. So.
Wow. Well, that is so cool, and I'm absolutely thrilled that you called in and decided to share all of this with us. I mean, it's been a hell of a call, and it's very possible you could be a guest on our podcast if you'd like to go through these. If we can get a really good connection and real clear sound, it would be fun to interview you.
Hey, I got one other thing left to tell you here.
Sure.
I would like to do that at some point.
Okay.
I've got a story for you about my grandfather
Mm-hmm.
that claimed for years, and he would get emotional about it, and he would cry that he had met extraterrestrials from the planet Venus, and that they took him on a ship to Mars, and that he got to see that there was life on Mars. And guess what they looked like? They lived underground, and they looked like Sasquatch.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, there's
Yeah.
long been
I-
speculation. You know,
Go ahead.
there's a lot of.
I'm sorry, my phone.
No, it's fine. Go ahead. Just keep talking, brother.
My phone reception. I live out in the country, and my phone reception is not that good. So I'm sorry about that. But
No.
go ahead. You were breaking up on me. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. I was just saying that you know a lot of people have speculated that there is an extraterrestrial origin for the Sasquatch, and I guess that claim definitely lends credibility to that for sure.
Well, these individuals that my grandfather met, they told him that they came from the planet Venus, and people say, well, it's 600 degrees on the planet Venus. You can't live on the surface. Well, one of the things that they told him was that they don't live on the exterior of the planet; they live on the interior of the planet.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Well,
and you know who Dr. Frankie Stranges is?
Yes. He wrote Stranger in the Pentagon.
When the first time I heard Dr. Frank E. Stranges talk about Valiant Thor and them, that story is very similar to what my grandfather tells.
Wow.
Of some of the abilities that those people have.
oh wow,
So,
that's amazing.
and I'd never heard of Frankie Stranges, and I know my grandfather didn't hear of Frankie Stranges. He like built race cars, and then later on in life he was like a Sunday school teacher, and he was into like sports and stuff. If you'd go to his house, he'd be watching sports, and then they'd be trying to figure out how to build a race car. And he would never talk about that story until I asked him about it, and he talked to me about it by myself, away from everybody else, because everybody would make fun of him.
Oh, that's horrible. I'm glad
And
he was
one
able
of
to
the
share it
things-
with you.
Go ahead, buddy.
I said I was glad that he was able to share that with you, though. That's remarkable.
Yeah, he shared it with me 3 times before he passed away, and every time he told the story, the details never changed. He never tried to embellish anything. It was always the same every time he told it.
Wow,
So,
that's cool. Very, very cool.
but we'll save that for another time.
Excellent.
Well, very good, brother. If you'll email me at Paranormal Portal Radio, and we'll try to coordinate a time that we can get together and do an interview for the podcast.
All right, that'll work. I appreciate it, man. Thanks for taking my call. This is exciting. I appreciate it.
It's great to hear from you, and you did wonderful. You know, I know you're nervous, but it was great information. It's just we got to get a better connection for you.
Yeah, and I'll just tell your listeners out there, that people out there can make fun of everybody they want about these things that are out there. But I've seen it. I was of sound mind. I don't drink, do alcohol, or any of that junk.
Sure.
Never have. The only high I ever got was off deer hunting and fishing and good things in life, and not that kind of stuff. And I was totally saw what I saw, and they are real. And whatever they are out there, the government and them are covering it up, and they exist, and they're there.
Oh, fantastic. Well, I look forward to hearing from you, brother. Thank you so much for calling in and being part of the show.
You're welcome, man. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. Have a good one.
You too. Take care now.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
Very cool.
that is cool. That is cool. I've only heard one other account of a mantis being before, and this guy I know said that he actually had a mantis being in his house, and they weren't communicating vocally; they were communicating through a piece of technology.
Oh, okay.
And this is back in like the early 90s, and he likened it to like a laptop. So found it really interesting. So yeah, there's a lot of mantis people reports Of course, the Nordics. Some people believe that the Nordics do come from the center of Venus. Obviously, we know that Valiant Thor was from Venus because that's what was reported.
Right.
Dr. Frank Strange wrote the book Strangers in the Pentagon, or Stranger in the Pentagon, way back in mid-50s. No, it wasn't mid-50s. It must have been closer to 60.
Okay.
But it was about his time he spent with Valiant Thor, Jane, and Dawn. So there you go.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah, so that'd be cool if, his what is it? His grandfather that had the
his
experience?
grandfather had the experience.
Wow.
That's awesome, and especially the corroborating
Yes.
information, I think, is really cool. Although I don't think Valiant Thor looked like a Sasquatch.
No. But Duke said something about Nordics come from Venus, but who's to say there's not just one race of thing on Venus,
Right.
Or one, So there you go.
There you go. All right. But Shelly, if you want to call in, please do. We only got
a few minutes left.
Yeah, we got some time left. But if you want to call in tomorrow night, if you want to call in any night, please feel free. Any of you guys. It's wonderful to hear from you guys. But it's been an absolutely amazing night for call-ins tonight. That's fantastic. All of our calls have been phenomenal. Great stories, great experiences. And I really appreciate you guys sharing them. Right, Don?
Yes, they've been awesome. So we had Stoney Jenkins, we had Lou, and then we had this caller. Didn't get his name, but I'm pretty sure I know who it is.
Oh, okay.
So.
Yep, absolutely. But, yeah, we had pictures, Cha-Cha. We showed the picture of the cast.
The casting, yeah.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot more, but that's because...
what you get for not paying attention, Cha.
Are you chastising her?
No. I'm not chastising her.
And yes, love is universal, Hetty, of course. Like we love you all for sure. So, I don't know if she's going to call in or not, but we're kind of running out of time. But Shelly, please, I don't know how often you've listened to the show or not, but it's absolutely wonderful that you're here tonight and every night at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We are doing a live show. Well, I am, and Don joins me on Wednesday and Saturdays.
As occasionally as I can.
Ooh, little uppercut on that saltiness,
No. As occasionally as I can. So.
As occasionally as you can. Yes. Well, I guess
if the occasions came up more, I'd be here.
Oh, okay. Well, see, now it sounds nice. Before it didn't sound as nice. But of course, I'm glad you're here, and it's always a lot of fun to help with the heavy lifting. But anybody, all you guys out there, please spread the word about the portal. We definitely want to keep this growing, and January and February are definitely slow months in the world of podcasting and YouTube. And so in order to keep this growing, we got to keep spreading the word. So if you guys would be so kind as to spread the word about the Paranormal Portal, let people that are into the paranormal know about the Paranormal Portal. That'd be amazing.
Lead them to the portal.
Bring them. Tomorrow's Bring a Friend Day.
That's a good idea.
Bring a Friend Day to the Paranormal Portal. Tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So 7 days a week, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, right here on YouTube. I'm doing a show, and again, Don joins me. I was going to say Don and joins at the same time, and I got John. So that's how that happened, Don. But
now I'm nervous.
We're always here, and our podcast is Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. New episodes are coming out every week as well. And so the podcast is available on iTunes, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, and TalkStream Live. There's lots of opportunities to find the portal in many places online. So we try to make ourselves as accessible as we can. But it's just the hard part for any show, I think, is to just get noticed, because there's so many shows out there. And so, the competition is absolutely fierce, in both the podcasting world and in the YouTube world.
Right.
So any help you guys can give us would be wonderful. And you guys have helped us amazingly. And we are only as big as we are now because of the love you guys have all shown us. So keep it up. Thank you for what you have done, and thank you for what you will do. It really means the world. So we do have a call. And we guess, let me get to this. Okay, area code 231, you're on the air.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Hi, how are you? Who is this, Shelly?
Yeah, it's Star Walker. How are you guys?
We're doing good. Thanks for calling in. What's on your mind tonight?
Not sure what to share on my mind. I've got a lot going on.
Oh.
Let's see. You all have been talking about so many spectacular experiences. I feel like mine shadow in comparison.
Oh, no, every experience is amazing. So we love hearing about all of them.
How do you guys feel about not closing the door to a Ouija board?
I think it's a bad idea. I think it's incredibly, can be incredibly problematic, is what I feel about that.
Okay, well, like, I was a young teenage girl 30 years ago experimenting with it and didn't get a chance to shut it. So,
Youch.
you know, I'm not sure if it's affected my life.
That could be. Yeah, I mean, there's lots of stories of people developing attachments from Ouija boards. You said you didn't get the chance to close it. Did you have to hide it for some reason because somebody was coming or something?
No, I was having an experience with my mother down in Mississippi and in a house that was like a conglomerate of homes put together.
Okay.
Like 3 different homes put together in the area with 3 different types of experiences. Drownings, main room being a observing room, for the dead back in the day. A lot of paranormal experiences at the Mama House down in Mississippi. So and at the time when we were, me and my mother were messing around with the Ouija, it said her father was sitting in the room with us, and she got up and left. She went and cried, and there was no goodbye at that moment in time. So I think that's where it's been like in a cliffhanger, like my whole life.
Oh, okay. Well, no, let me tell you this too, Shelley. Let me just take a moment and explain and let you know that we do have people attached with the show that are happy to help, free of charge, to help people if they think that there's a negative attachment or problems with spirits, and they'll be happy to cleanse it for you if you need that or if you'd like to check into that. Please let me know. I'd be happy to put you in touch with them. Again, it's no charge.
Do I reopen another Ouija board and close it, or
No.
do I?
I would advise severely against it.
Yeah, I don't think that's necessary. I mean, it's not the act of opening or closing a Ouija board that's going to either correct or exacerbate it. It's the fact that, well, first of all, I think it's good to have somebody who has the ability to look into the situation to see if what you're experiencing is indeed what you're experiencing or if there's some other cause for this to be happening for you. And I'm not saying it's not paranormal. It most probably is, but it might not be from that at all. And so that's it may have something to do with the Ouija board and it may not. But if there isn't something attached to you and that could be causing your problems, these people can certainly help. And have helped many, many people already.
It's been like 30 years,
Sure.
And when I first experienced it, it was Zozos and my Ouija board, and it told me I would be married to the name of the man I married, and I would have 3 children, 2 boys and a girl. All that has occurred, and it also told me I had a guardian angel. But at the same time, there's always that darkness that shadows the whole existence.
Right.
Yeah, and if you've got something like that trailing you or you believe you do, then that's, it's something that's definitely worth checking into. But no, I mean, it doesn't have to be done via a Ouija board. An attachment is its own thing. I don't know. Do you even have the old Ouija board anymore?
Oh my goodness, no. Like
Okay.
I said, that was like 40-something years
Yeah.
ago, or
And
30-something years ago, so
Yeah.
unfortunately, no.
Yeah. And that's why the
And
Ouija
yeah,
board
I'm
isn't good.
totally probably leery about ever touching one again. But
Sure.
if it's what would be necessary to close the door, I would do it just to
No.
shut it down.
No, it wouldn't be necessary to even touch one or have anything to do with one again. It's just the mechanics of something having come through. That was it can be a doorway, and the door itself is not the problem. And if you don't even have the board anymore anyway, that's a moot point. But if there is something that did come through and managed to attach to you, that's all about energy, and it's all about just cleansing, and the board itself is inconsequential.
All right. Well, a couple months ago, I ventured around a couple cemeteries, and I felt a lot more at peace and a lot more cleansed than what I've felt for the past 30 years. So is that a way for me putting that spirit to rest by exploring these cemeteries?
It may be because... Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to
No,
say...
you go ahead.
Okay. I was going to say it may be. I mean, of course, there's lots of people that believe that cemeteries have a lot of portals, and so it is possible that a soul following you around might have just gone through the portal eventually and found their way out. It's hard to know for sure, but cemeteries are usually sacred ground, like holy ground, if you will. I mean, most of the earth around there has been blessed, and it may be a less likely to have a lot of negative stuff going on. It may not. I mean, it depends on the cemetery, I suppose. Some groups like to go in and corrupt cemeteries, and that's a whole other issue. But if you feel like it was a peaceful place for you, then maybe that was very therapeutic, and maybe it helped this thing cross by itself.
Right. Yeah.
Just being in a place like that.
Yeah.
I
hope so too, because I did get a very cleansing feeling when I left there. It felt like it was like a weight off my shoulders.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Well, I hope that.
It's had 30 years.
Yeah, I hope that that's the case, because those are tough things for sure. But yeah, I mean, we can.
Oh, it really is, especially when it forecasted my future.
Yeah.
And then that happened, so it's kind of eerie, and I just want to lay it to rest and move forward.
So do you feel like it's still an issue now, or not so much anymore?
Not so much anymore, but maybe a little bit. Maybe it's where I am now, that my home or this area has some kind of negative energy that wants to keep pulling these things back into my realm.
Okay. Well, it's.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, it's hard to know. Again, I'm on the outside looking in through a phone conversation, so it's hard to know for sure. But I think it's something we could certainly help you with if you're willing to explore that option. But as no pressure. I just wanted the portal to be more than just a place to tell stories. I wanted it to be able to help people too. And I've got a couple of amazing people that have stepped up and have done a lot to help a whole lot of people that needed help.
I appreciate that, Brent.
Yeah.
It's been fantastic following your channel and your show. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that. You appreciate it.
Well, thanks, you guys. I really don't want to take up any more of your time. I appreciate the little input. Maybe I'll check back in next show.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, tomorrow there'll be another show. So if you're in the neighborhood, stop in. We'd love to have you back. But if you do want to get in touch, just let me know. Just email me at paranormalportalradio@gmail.com. Okay.
Are you on Instagram?
I have an Instagram. I have no idea how to use it yet, though.
Insta what?
I'm still figuring out mine, too.
Well, if you figure it out, you might have to help me, because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I got one, but I don't know what I'm doing.
Me either. Maybe we can help each other. That'd be great.
Sounds like a deal.
All right, you guys, I appreciate your time. I don't want to hold you up. Thank you for taking my call.
Oh, of course. Thanks for calling in and being a part of the show.
Thank you. Have a great night, guys.
Okay, good night.
Night. Well, geez. Wow. Yeah, when she said, what do you guys think about leaving a Ouija board open? I'm like,
The red lights go off.
Ouija board alert. Ouija board alert. We have an open gate.
We have an open portal. Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, how about you, Don? You feel like we've done a good job?
Yeah, I think we've 4 callers tonight. Awesome job.
We've given
Nice
her
job.
he's got Captain. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, thank you for being here, Don. Anything in closing?
Portal. No, Rockers 20.
Oh, yeah.
Rockers 20. Teespring.com/stores/paranormal-portal. Rockers 20. That's ROCKERS 20. All capital letters. 15% off at Teespring. Only good until Saturday night.
Saturday night,
Get it
ladies
now.
and gentlemen. The clock is ticking.
Absolutely.
If you'd like some portal gear and save 15%, stop by now. All right. Well, that's awesome,
There
brother.
you go. Yeah.
Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to wrap it up for us tonight. Thank you so much for joining us on our incredible and often unplanned journeys here on the portal. But it was an epic journey.
Yeah.
I didn't have to plan it. It plans itself. So thanks, guys, for being here. We love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Find the magic in every day, and remember to laugh as much as you can. We love you guys.
Good night.
Good night.